All right, hey, this is Brian DeChristopher, and we're talking to Jesse Smith today. Here I am scratching my. Hold on a second. We're gonna edit that out. I'm sitting there all scratching myself like a fucking chimpanzee.
Hi, I'm Brian.
What a great first 2 seconds
We'll
right
never
off the
make
bat.
it. We'll never make it through this thing.
Oh man! All right, all right, all right. Clear face. Hey, you're watching and listening to Drums and Guns. I'm Brian DeChristopher, and we're talking to Jesse Smith. He's the owner of Uber Beats Recording Studio in Everett, Washington, and or is that Mukilteo? That's Everett.
It's actually a Linwood address,
Oh,
surprisingly
really?
enough.
It's
But we're
Linwood.
in Mukilteo. Yeah, it's
And you're
weird
and you're
the
on
way the zoning is.
and you're on Beverly Park Way, correct?
Beverly Park Road between Airport Road and the Speedway.
Okay, gotcha. And you're also a drummer, and you've played in a band.
I barely play drums. Yes.
Okay, and he plays a Journey tribute act called Infinity Project.
Yep.
Which is a really, really tight, kick-ass band.
We've been at it 8 years. Surprising. It's 8 years. I thought it would be a couple 3-year run, and people would get tired of us. And it's 8 years in, and we're still doing it, and it's better now than it's ever been. It's crazy.
Nice.
Like it's crazy with what we're all going through right now with the pandemic and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it was dead. I mean, we did one show. Literally, we did our first and only show was February 8th of last year.
Wow.
And then
that was just prior to all the big shutdowns, yeah.
Right. Like we had a full summer booked. It was it was going to be a crazy year. We had 50 plus shows booked, and everything dropped. Like it was insane how much dropped. And in 19, we did 55 or 57 shows.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great money year. We did a lot of festivals, a lot of concerts in the park series, municipality shows, stuff like that. And it's been a pretty crazy ride, man. I mean, considering 8 years ago, we played our first show at the Twin Dragon in like Duval. We kept it as far out of Seattle as we could, but close enough for people to come if they really wanted to.
Right.
And
that's a smart strategic move.
Well, we were like, we didn't know. I mean, it was our first show out. We spent a year in the rehearsal space to be like nuts on. We wanted to be perfect and wanted people to like cock their head and go, wow, like where the hell these guys come from? You know, they sound exactly like Journey. And it was a pretty crazy deal. I mean, that night we got people coming up to us going like, this is like your first show. And we're like, yeah, it's our first show. And they're like, man, you guys are amazing. And I'm like, well, we spent a year in a freaking rehearsal room. So really, we played these songs probably 100 times already. So it's like, we should be good.
Right. Plus you're one of the few drummers I've worked with that actually sticks with a click. I mean, you're pretty religious about it. I mean, whether you're rehearsing or playing live.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I hated it at first. I realized it was a tool, and
it's robbing me of my feel.
That I hear it a lot, man. And it's like, you can still feel if you play to a click. It's a matter of pulling a verse and pushing a chorus. You can be on top of it or behind it, but still be on it. And guys that are new to it feel like, you know, they got to be like, oh my, it's a robot. You know, they got to be on top of it. And you're like,
and then they're fighting it.
Like
they're fighting the click.
They fight it. And I was actually talking to a guy the other day about that, you know, about playing to a click and explaining how I play to a click, because our whole show's on a click. I mean, the Journey tribute, the whole show's on a click.
Our shows were on a click.
Yeah.
But please continue. I didn't mean to hijack you.
It's just one of those things, man. I mean, it's like playing to a click is being professional. You know, you want to give the people that pay to see you play the best experience that they can get. And if playing to a click is giving them that experience, great, because the tempos are right. They can dance. You're not starting it at 120 and ending it at 130. You know, it's like, it's just one of those things where I pride myself on that, you know, because even when we're playing to a click and I get a little free, I'm still on it, and my
Mhm.
band knows when I'm free, but the audience doesn't know when I'm free.
Right.
So we laugh about it, you know. Like Randy would come up after the show with our singer and be like, "Yeah, so what happened on Love and Touching again?" I was like, "So we're
Don't worry about it,
fine.
man.
We're fine."
Hey, you came in the right spot, man. It's all good.
Yeah, but we were good, man. Not a big deal.
Everybody
But
was
yeah,
sold. Okay, so I don't want to be remiss in introducing Jason Touchdown, obviously, and he's my partner here. And Jason is an audio guru, and he's pretty fantastic behind a mixing board. As a matter
Jason
of
is
fact,
fantastic at what he does. I've heard some mixes that Jason's done. It's pretty damn
yes.
good stuff.
You heard REP?
Thank you.
You heard
Pardon?
REP?
Yes,
He was on-
yes.
he
I
was
played
all
some of
over
the
it.
songs off of that.
You did, and I'm much obliged. You did a good job, man. So yeah,
Absolutely.
so
I miss that band, man. We had good times.
it was a lot of fun, man. There was a lot of good talent there.
Yeah,
But
sure.
you know, we don't get any younger, talking about that kind of crap, do we? But yeah, so you did play for a little while in my group. Actually, you played in the group twice. Because
Yeah.
right after we fired our first drummer, you no, but you came in and you learned like everything in less than 2 weeks
Mhm.
and came out and did a damn good job at that show.
Yeah,
And that
that,
was
that
at
Hot Rock, that Hot Rocks thing.
Hot
that-
Rocks
that-
TV,
I didn't
yeah.
realize. I didn't realize it was being taped until I got there. It was hilarious.
I ain't
I
saying
showed
shit.
I showed up to the gig and there's like 5 cameras and all kinds. I'm like,
What the
"Brian,
hell's
what's going
going
on
on?
tonight?" He goes,
What is this?
I didn't tell you this is a taping for Hot Rocks TV. And I'm like, "No, you didn't tell me nothing."
Oh, I'm sorry. That must have slipped my mind.
Oh well.
But hey, man, you stood up to the task, right?
That was a fun gig, man. That was a really fun gig.
It was fun. We had a blast.
I upped our internet at the studio, our bandwidth. So we rehearse on JamKazam. We rehearse on the internet. We're not in the same room.
Oh, okay.
So I bought a
Wow.
Roland kit. I bought a Roland TD50 kit. So I'm using that. I got rid of the big rack and my Megadeth kit. I took
Mhm.
that down. I'm using the electronics in rehearsals now. Control the sound in the room. I
Mhm.
can DI into my board and send that to the PA, which goes out to them.
Mhm.
And then I get a line back from them to my PA. So it's pretty cool. Literally, I'm looking at a computer screen and the guys are on the computer screen. It's just me, Drew, and Jerry.
And no latency issues, huh?
Dude, they're not bad.
Wow.
I'm floored. You have to be within 50 miles, a 50-mile radius.
Uh-huh.
Your ping has to be under 10, which
Uh-huh.
we are. We're about 7 to 8 on average. And it's crazy. Like, they play to me. So I got my SPDS set up next to me. We play to a click.
Mhm.
And I start the songs and I'm 1, 2, 3 into the song and they're playing to me.
Mhm.
So really the latency is null and void. It's crazy. Like we used to do it with our singer Rob.
Mhm.
We'd all be in a room and we had room 2, that little room next to the vending machine. And then Rob would be home because he didn't want to drive north to come to rehearsals. So we did it for him, and latency was okay. It wasn't bad because our internet wasn't up to par.
Right.
But I mean, we're like 600 down, 50 up or something now. It's it's crazy fast. And yeah, we're hardwired in and it's insane. Like technology is there now where you can not be in the same room and be playing live.
Now, do you have that? Excuse me. Do you have that set up in the studio? So, like, if you have renters come in, say you have a bass player come in, he goes in one room, a drummer goes into a different room, and they're watching monitors on the wall and they're jamming together.
We don't have that set up.
Oh,
we
okay.
could
Mhm.
because all it is hooking up monitors and stuff like that. But
Sure.
we have it set up in my room because of what we do. And we could have it set up in every other room in the facility for the fact of all they have to do is a hardwire in.
Right.
It's hardwired into your computer, like Ethernet.
Mm-hmm.
We have that in every room.
Mm-hmm.
So all I have to do is plug them into the router upstairs, and then it's literally having a good IO. So like we use, I think, a Scarlett. It's like
Right.
a little channel IO.
Sure.
Super
Focusrite.
simple.
Yeah, Focusrite
Yep.
makes this. Yeah.
It's one in, one out. So I get a feed from them, they get a feed from me.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you don't even need a laptop to do it, because all you need is the IO.
Right.
No, you don't need a board.
No,
Sorry.
no, that's right. You don't need a board. That's right.
You have to hardwire into your laptop, and then the IO goes into your laptop, and you're good.
We're getting into Jason's domain here, big time, aren't we? We're totally getting into your domain.
Yeah, it's interesting what COVID has done to audio, and this is an interesting solution because you're also able to reach fans this way. I imagine you can allow fans to share a link with them where they can even watch rehearsals.
Yep, and even on Jamkazam, it's free. It's a free service, but they just started charging for it. Smart people. It was free up until December 31st of 20. Now it's $10 a month or whatever. I paid for the year, and I paid for the platinum service, which gives you video and everything else, and it's like $99 for a year. So I'm paying $99 to practice with my band whenever I want.
Sure.
Not a big
At
deal.
2 a.m. in your boxer shorts, or
dude,
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
very convenient. So so speaking of the studio, so you have how many rooms now? Because you opened up the second floor.
47.
So is that all monthly, or
Nope.
are those?
So what we do downstairs is exactly the same. So we have 3 hourlies, which I own all the gear.
Mm-hmm.
We have 21 monthlies, and I have a room that's my storage locker. It's actually,
I think my road case is sat in there for a while.
It's actually Jason's old room. Jason's old room. Room 25 is now my storage locker. That's where I store all my extra gear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good room.
Because it's right outside the studio wall, and I didn't want a band right outside my control room.
Yeah, thumping away while somebody's trying to work. Yeah.
Exactly. So now that's my storage locker. So now the first room in that line of rooms is room 23, which is 15 feet away. And then you got the gap, and then you got so there's no bleed. So it's fine.
Right. Yeah. Plus all your rooms are all sound protected and soundproof.
Yeah, we built
pretty
it
much.
pretty well. Upstairs, we just did 22 more rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one that's 20 by 22. So it's a big room. We're looking at doing live streaming from it. So one of my clients in room 12, Chris Clefane, is a broadcaster. He has broadcasting background. So it's his brainchild, 5 camera shoot, professional audio, full light rig. He has got a light tech that tours with national bands. That's going to come do our light tech for us, do our whatever.
Mm-hmm. And this is a definite you're talking about? This is something that's actually happening?
Like literally the room is being set up for it right now.
Great.
Chris,
what kind of
Chris just got his X32, and he's getting some more stuff for the light rig, but he's gathering all the gear for it because it's his brainchild. I mean, he asked me about doing it. I'm like, it was supposed to be an hourly room, a large hourly for bands that have like horn sections. I mean, we have bands that squeeze into my recording studio that are 7 to 10 people.
Right. Plus you get mariachi bands and stuff like that. Yeah.
We wanted a large room for that, and $50 an hour between 10 people. No brainer.
It's nothing. Right.
So then we have 22 total. So we have 20 rentable rooms upstairs because I use room V as a storage locker. Right. Because of the fact it shares a room with the studio wall downstairs, but it's still a wall.
It's interesting to me, you said when you're rehearsing, you're playing an electronic kit. And it got me thinking about electronic kits versus real world acoustic kits.
Big difference.
Is it the rebound? Is it?
It's pushing air. Big thing for me I've actually played the electronic kit on 2 gigs. When you're hitting a pad, it's like
Mm-hmm. There's no
That's all you
dynamics. Yeah.
there's nothing. There's no, like, you can't feel the kick drum. You can't feel when you hit a tom and it decays.
Right.
It's total sensory deprivation is what it is. They sound fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I wear in-ears. They sound fantastic.
With COVID, have
Yeah.
you noticed like a big time difference in your rentals and your
Yeah.
monthlies?
Monthlies, no. Monthlies have
So
been
monthlies-
fantastic.
Okay.
Literally right now we have 6 rooms open
It's not a bad problem
6.
to have out of 47.
out of no. Our hourlies have been a little slow. Our studio has been a little slow. We just did a huge revamp of the studio. Complete acoustic treatments. We put clouds in. We put a lot more panels in. We redid the live room. I've added a few 1176 clones for compressors. I added a mix bus clone or a mix bus compressor. So I added another 473. So we're bumping up the gear stuff. I brought Sean Walker. I brought him in as our studio manager, and the acoustic treatments cost me about $5,000 in the panels. It's like 20 something panels that we put in. It's a crazy amount of treatment that we did to those rooms, and they sound fantastic.
Sounded good before, so
They did. And big thing before about our live room was very verby.
Mhm.
Big drum sounds. You can always adverb.
Right.
You can never take it away.
That's true. Well,
So
I don't know. What do you say, Jason? What do you say about that?
Well, it's interesting. Software is getting to the point where you can, I think Isotope RX has a feature to choke back some of the reverb. And, the trick is making it sound natural.
yeah.
And, some bands live on reverb. You listen to U2's first 3 albums, enough reverb to swallow Cleveland.
Right.
But it worked stylistically, gave them identity. So reverb fills up a lot of space when used correctly, or it makes it really muddy.
Right.
Depends on your content.
Yeah, because all your rooms, now your rehearsal rooms, and I would imagine that the actual recording studio as well is pretty much floating. Yes.
No. So the downstairs is on a concrete floor. So
Right.
there's no
There's no
sound
floating there.
concrete.
Yeah.
No. Upstairs,
Mhm.
we floated.
Okay.
We actually floated the floors upstairs.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes
Just
sense.
to minimize bass travel and stuff like that. We still get bass travel. That's inherent. It's going to happen anywhere because they're so wide.
Well, you also get
But-
bass travel when you have somebody like Eddie Jackson show up in the studio with his whole concert rig and cranks the thing all the way up. And I
Dude,
can walk. What the hell's going on?
139.7 dB in that room.
It was ridiculous.
Dude,
We could
he-
hear
I
it in
was
our
in-
room 4 rooms down.
I was in the office and he comes out all proud with his phone and he showed me this thing 139.7. I was like, what's that? He goes, that's the dB in that room with the rigs. Well, we're reamping right now. And that I was like, that's like jet engine fucking loud. He goes, I know, isn't that awesome? I was like,
Yeah, I think I come walking in and I go, who's the jackass that brings in the whole touring rig? And
Oh
he's
my
sitting there and he
God.
looks around the corner. I'm like, oops.
Jason, I'll send you that picture. I have a picture of that rig. It was 3 complete bass rigs. It was his RB rig, an Ampeg rig, and his Macaulay bass cab,
Mhm.
all mic'd so they can mix it all together. It was insane. I walked in, I'm like, seriously.
It was ridiculous.
The bass
bet
tracks in that
UW
record sound great though.
It does. It does. Yeah. I think
That's when
I9,
the,
the opening riff. What's that?
I was gonna say, I know there's some concerts that set off the geological earthquake
Yeah.
detectors, and
Hmm.
it sounds like maybe this rig can do that.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. 139.7. I'll never forget that number because I know jet engine's like 130 for the dB meter for
Mhm.
loudness.
What
And, like,
mics were you
like-
capturing with?
What mics?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
taking that sort of.
Oh, dude, we
SPL.
had a bunch of different mics on it. We had an RE20 on one of them, along with a 421. I think we had a couple of 421s on another.
Were you also doing DI?
And then we had some DIs going on. I forget. Jimbo Barton was the
Mhm.
Oh.
producer on that. And Jimbo bought some of his mics in as well. So I don't know what those were, but
They're probably
But we
boutiques, I
had-
would imagine.
literally had 3 bass rigs mic'd up
Good
in the
God.
loud room. And yeah, it was insane.
It was crazy. So, okay, so you've had Nancy Wilson in there, you've had Queensryche in there. Who else
Yeah.
has been through your studio?
Famous wise,
Sure.
rehearsals, we had a band called Avoid in there, which is Avoid. They're local guys doing huge stuff right now. Like they're a hard rock metal band. Have been getting a lot of love on Octane, on Sirius Satellite, and on Liquid Metal. Had a band called Alisana come in who were touring. Avoid was actually opening their tour. Other than that, man, it's just been a lot of local people. A lot of bands use my space for drum tracks, and then they do the rest at home because they can do that now.
Right.
Some bands come in and do live tracking, so they do everything all together in one day. Greg Hagstrom is one of my hourly clients that uses my space. He'll block out a weekend at a time and do that stuff. Obviously, Rain has used my space as well as Jason's space. But yeah, it's been good, man. It's like I can't complain. I'm a small fish in a really big pond. It's not like I'm in a small town USA where I'm the only recording studio.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in a place that has Bob Lang's, London Bridge, Studio X, Avast.
Right.
I'm in a place that has fantastic rooms, and I'm just blessed that people use my space. We get really good recordings out of my space.
The intro music that's going to be used for this podcast that they're going to hear was
Yeah.
recorded at your place.
Nice.
The guitars were anyway.
Nice,
Um,
man.
Yeah. And it was a 412 in that room with a mic set up about 6 feet high and about 4 feet out. And I believe that was there was a 57 on the cone and there was a Royer. I
Yep.
seem to recall a Royer sitting out on there.
Our 122s.
Right.
Yeah,
And
the
then
122s.
in the other ISO booth was a 212 running a 57 and I believe another Royer or something similar.
Yep, we have 2. We have
Uh-huh.
a stereo paired match of 122s.
Yeah. And it got such a great, man, what a great guitar tone. I mean, I was really happy with it.
I'm happy with the stuff that we put out.
You've had a lot of success with your studio,
Yeah.
and so I got to think of, which is a dream, and particularly it's tough in the industry to make money. Everybody wants a favor, and the other end of the spectrum.
It's true.
The other end of the spectrum. What's your first band's name, and should you be embarrassed?
My band?
Your
My
first,
first-
was there a high school punk band? or-
Yep. Nope.
What?
My first band ever was in 1989 in Hawaii. I lived on Kauai. We were the rock band on Kauai. And our band's name was Seventh Thunder.
Seventh,
Seventh Thunder.
meaning like in progression of
Yep.
before the eighth one.
Yep.
You were the seventh one. Okay.
We were the Seventh Thunder. My guitar player's name was Troy Castro. Fantastic dude. We're still friends to this day. My bass player's name was Eddie Castro. No, not Eddie Castro. Eddie
Haskell.
Dude, he looked exactly like fucking Randy Rhoads. Like,
Oh, wow.
It was
wow.
uncanny how much he looked like Randy Rhoads. Oh,
What?
there's my
There
first
they
one.
are.
Oh my God.
Oh,
My
my
wife,
God.
my wife finds the only promo shot we ever did. So look at Eddie.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
yeah.
He looks like
but-
he looks like fucking Randy Rhoads.
I'm trying not to look at his shirt.
Yeah.
It's wow, what a shirt. That's Revenge of Don Ho, man.
Yep. So obviously that's me on the left, that's Troy on the right, and that's Eddie in the middle.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
Wow.
We were the rock band on Kauai. We did all kinds of house parties and beach parties and all kinds of stuff. And that's where I met my wife.
What? Wow.
Yeah. She was
I always wondered what her nationality was.
well,
So she's
Carolyn.
Polynesian. She's a
No.
Polynesian.
no. Carolyn is Spanish Alaska Native.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she was friends with my guitar player's girlfriend, and she used to come to see us play and all kinds of stuff. And we were friends.
And
we
did
moved
you
we moved in together as friends. We were both sick of our living situations, and we moved
Mhm.
in together as friends. And here we are 30 plus years later. We're still friends.
You're still friends. You can still tolerate each other. She
But-
still
but
puts
yeah,
up with it.
So that was my first band, was Seventh Thunder. So then
were
I
there
moved-
six iterations before that and the seventh one stuck?
I just think it was a cool name. I mean, my guitar
Oh,
player
okay.
Troy came up with it. He was really into Vito Bratta, like
Mhm.
was his absolute favorite guitar player of all time. Steve Vai, and so Steve Vai, the middle I, right, the seventh, whatever. So he came up with the name of Seventh Thunder. So I moved to. So Troy moved to LA to do MI. Summer session of 90. Came back to Hawaii. We continued gigging. Went back to LA in 91 to do the year session at MI, the year curriculum. So he moved to LA to follow the dream.
Mhm.
I moved to Seattle in December of 90 as a stepping stone to LA. So we moved here. Carolyn's from here. Her whole family and whole base is here. We were going to be here 6 months and move to LA so I could follow the dream of music.
Right.
I did. I moved to LA July 4th weekend of 91. I was there 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I was living with Troy and his girlfriend, Allie.
Mhm.
I could not find a job to save my life.
You weren't delivering
I-
alcohol to David
Dude.
Geffen.
I was looking at construction,
Mhm.
fast food, retail. I mean, anything that I could do to stay in LA, I couldn't find a job to save my life. So I called Carolyn and said, don't even bother packing. I'm coming back. So
And now
I
you're a
moved-
professional truck driver.
I'm a truck driver.
But
So-
you kick ass at it.
So I moved back here. And then, yeah, it's like my first band, check this out. My first band in Seattle
Was that Sakara?
was Seventh Stranger.
Oh,
How funny is that?
But there's the only relation is you.
Right. So I had Seventh Thunder in Hawaii. I had Seventh Stranger in Seattle. It was a couple, Rose and Eric. They were cool people. My bass player, his name was Ted. We had fun. We had an independent deal, AVC Records out of LA. We did a video, which is cheesy as hell.
Is it out there on the internet somewhere?
Oh, it's out there. It's out there. Look up
Seventh Stranger.
Stranger. Love is like oxygen. It was a sweet cover.
Oh, okay, that's a cool song.
And it is gay. so I did that, and then played in a couple other bands between 91, and I got in Sakara in 97. Sakara was a killer band. Tony Abreu, guitar player, who
from Windowpane.
Yeah, from Windowpane, and now Windowpane is done. It's a sad deal, but Glenn is doing his own thing. Glenn is doing Glenn Cannon and the Damage Done.
With Jeff Thiessen
and Louis and Lance, and fantastic band.
Yeah.
I love Glenn. I mean, we have our little
he's good people. Yeah.
We have our little side project. We call it kitty porn. KITTY porn.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's me, Glenn, and actually the old bass player of Windowpane, Mark. And we're actually looking at doing something else, hopefully soon when things break free. We all talked about it. Mark hasn't played since he left Windowpane.
Right.
So
he had moved. He moved back.
He moved to Iowa, and then he's back now. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had inherited a house or some odd thing.
Something crazy. I don't know. I haven't talked to Mark in a while. But then I gotten so with Tony, and then our singer's name was Brian Davis. Fantastic singer, untrained, but just a great voice. Bass player's name was Tim Crocker. We had a lot of fun, man. I mean, I was in the band almost 5 years. We opened a lot of national act shows. Got interest from Sony. We were young and dumb and sent them the whole record.
Doesn't everybody get interest from Sony?
Well, the thing was we got interest in Columbia, so was a subsidiary of Sony.
Right.
Rod Kukla was the A&R guy's name, and we sent down our whole record, and we had a 10-song record, sent it in the mail. Being stupid and young and dumb, we didn't send 3 songs so we could get feedback and edit 3 songs and send 3 more songs back. No, we sent the whole record. So we had to write and record, and it was a 3-month process, and we did it, and we did exactly what they wanted to hear, with the shorter intros and shorter guitar solos and vocals.
Get to the chorus quicker.
Yeah. Right. So we did all of that.
What is that?
It's my phone going off.
Oh, okay.
And for my,
it's you.
I guess somebody just moved out. So it was one of those things that Rod was a pop guy. We were Megadeth meets Whitesnake.
Right.
Very heavy, but melodic vocals. His boss was what was his name? I forget his name. Full face beard, little John Lennon glasses, like extremely famous A&R guy. But he said that I'm not this kind of genre. I'm a pop guy, but I really think my boss, John Kalodner. If you ever seen Aerosmith's "Dude Look Like a Lady" video,
right,
and the wedding scene, and they pull up the veil,
right,
and it's the full face beard, and that's John Kalodner. That is their A&R
gotcha.
guy. So he was the head of Sony. He was the head of A&R at Sony. And he goes, it's not really my thing, but I really think my boss would like this. And I said, well, who's your boss? He said, John Kolodner. I was like full face beard, John Lennon glasses, John Kolodner. He starts laughing. He's like, yeah. I'm like, great. I'll let him hear it. And so like 3 months went by, and every month or so I'd make a phone call, just keep my name in the head and whatever. And John was either busy or on holiday or out on tour with his bands or whatever. He was a head of A&R at Sony.
Right.
Who am I? So then my phone rang one day, and it was Rod. And like my chest got tight. I was driving a truck. Like literally, I looked down at my cell phone. I saw Rod Kukla. So I pull over. I take the phone call. I'm like, hello? He's like, hey, Jess, it's Rod Kukla from Columbia. Oh, hey, Rod, what's going on? Like, I didn't know who it was. And he goes, hey, I just want to let you know, John heard your stuff today. And I was like, wow, you're like crazy. And he said, I'm going to preface this conversation by, if John likes it, it comes off the CD player and goes into a pile to listen to again.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't like it, it goes in the garbage.
Right.
For him to say word one about anything is a miracle.
Right. Yeah.
And he usually listens to 30 to 45 seconds of each song, 3 songs maximum, makes his decisions. I get it, totally.
Right.
He said he listened to 3 full songs off your record. I was like, well, that's 15 minutes of his time, because our songs
Right.
average 5.5, 6 minutes. And he said he pulled it off the CD player, handed it back to Rod, and said, these guys are really good, not great. Here's what I want to see. Shorter songs.
Mm-hmm.
We average 6 minutes. So
Right.
shorter guitar solos and vocals in N20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we took the time, and it took us 3 or 4 months. We wrote 5, went back into London Bridge, recorded 3 or 4, sort of changed direction a little bit, went a little more modern instead of the Megadeth meets Whitesnake 80s metal type thing, and sent it back down to him. And he got it and called me the day he got it and said, I can't believe it. I was like, can't believe what? And he goes, you did exactly what we asked you to do. Why wouldn't I?
Right.
You're Sony Records, Columbia Records. You're wanting to give us a record deal. Why wouldn't I take your advice and say, okay, let's run with this, see what happens? And
Most bands don't have that flexibility, though.
Right.
They don't have the capability to do it. If you tell them, write me a ballad, and they're a hard rock band, chances are they can't write a fucking ballad.
Right. So that being said, so we're in the studio, London Bridge. The day Brian's mom had cancer.
Mm.
And supposedly her doctor said she had time, and they were going to send her to Switzerland to get this treatment that they wouldn't do in the US and all kinds of stuff. So Brian, we did 3 songs that we sent back to Sony. Dead Guy Livin' was 1, Someone Cares was 2, and Call My Sunrise is 3. Call My Sunrise is an acoustic guitar vocal ballad. That is the last song Brian sang.
Mm.
And he finished the vocal. We were doing listen back, and Brian got a phone call that his mom passed away. The day he finished singing that song. So obviously band's in turmoil. We told Brian to take care of him and his family. You go do what you need to do. We'll finish this demo. We'll get it back to Sony. Don't worry about us. In that few weeks to a month, our bass player quit. He was in the band 9 years, newly married, had a baby. Just didn't want to do it anymore. And it crushed us because what we were doing, it was 97, 98, 99. So the melodic metal thing was not a thing.
Right.
So we auditioned some people and like, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, I'm totally good. And they get there and they could barely play, eighth notes on a freaking E string, So it just didn't work. And Rod kept calling, saying he was going to be up here for Bumbershoot. Are we doing any shows? We kept telling him, no, we're in writing mode. We're not doing any shows. So it never transpired to anything, but just to know we got interest from Sony and that we got the kudos that, holy crap, we did something that nobody's ever done, was cool. But flip side of that coin is it would have been cool. I mean, Kolodner even said, he goes, dude, if it was 10 years ago, he goes, this band would be a multi-platinum band. Which it's disheartening because I don't have any platinum records on my wall.
Right. Yeah, neither do I.
But
it's funny because you'll get a letter from somebody because I'm sure you got is like Sakara, you guys put out a CD and it gets out there and you don't know how far it fucking goes.
Oh, dude,
it's really a kind of a surprise.
Dude, we had people from like Germany and this was CDs. This wasn't streaming. This wasn't online. A guy from Germany emailed me saying that he got our CD. A friend of his from the States brought him our CD. Freaking crazy.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. And you'll get calls, okay, so I'm not trying to make this about me because obviously we're talking to you. But just to expound on what you're saying is on an airplane, I was on an airplane flying to Minneapolis to do a video shoot for something. And I'm on the plane back to Seattle. And there's this Hungarian couple behind me that could barely speak any English. And I'm like, I hear the dialect. I got to find out where they're from. And of course, I'm that kind of person. Hey, where are you people from?
Totally.
And so, of course, back then, of course, my hair was long and everything. And they're like, oh, you must be a musician or whatever. Like, yeah. And they're like, what band do you play in? Agents of Chaos. And the lady's like, our son was just talking about you. Our son lives in Poland. We were just visiting our son in Poland. He has a copy of your CD. It's called Volume 1. And I'm like, it is. So they were telling me the truth. They knew.
It's a crazy thing, man. But back in like the late 90s, it's like the MySpace thing was just starting. And it's like, it wasn't a way that you could get your stuff out there. And a friend of his brought our CD to Germany. And he emailed us from Germany saying, I got the CD and it's amazing and blah, blah, blah. But it was a fun band, man. I mean, we did a lot of really cool stuff, cool gigs, and it just went away. And it's a sad that it went away, but we've all gone on to other things. I mean, like I said, Tony right now is in a band called Mean Genius. I haven't heard it yet, but I heard it's pretty damn cool. It's basically
Abreu? You're talking about Tony Abreu, right?
Yep. Okay. It's basically window pane.
Mm-hmm.
Him, Christian, and Noah, and they have Jaundice Beckman singing for them.
Oh, okay.
From 10 miles wide.
10 miles wide. That's right.
Yep.
Apologies to Jaundice.
Yep. And it's so that should be cool to see what's going on with that. Brian still does acoustic stuff every now and then. We've talked about a Sakara reunion. I don't know if I can play that shit anymore. I'm old now. No, but I mean, we did a few over the years, and I'd love to play that stuff again. I mean, I love that material, and if we did it, it would be cool. Brian wants to do it. Tony wants to do it. Christian from Mean Genius and Windowpane. Christian was in a band called Riot and Rhythm, who were sort of proteges of Sakara. So he said he would kill to be the bass player in that reunion. And so it could happen. I mean, we don't know. We'll see. I mean, once things, even out and pan out, and if we can do it, cool. Maybe we'll do it as a Pagan County and Sakara deal where Sakara opens the Pagan County show or whatever. I don't know.
That way you get 2 paychecks.
I get paid $50 per gig. Cool.
Well, how do people get to see the Journey tribute band? What if we wanted to watch something?
So right now you can actually see something we did. Kirkland Performing Arts Center did a live stream with us. We actually taped it 2 weeks before. And if you go on YouTube, it's archived on their YouTube channel. So look up either Kirkland Performing Arts Center and it'll pull up a bunch of videos from that place. Look up Infinity Project. We're like one of the first videos on it. We did 45 minutes, multi-camera shoot. They did a fantastic job with the editing. It sounds great. It looks great.
Audio off the board.
Yeah. Full on multi-track. Like I said, 5 cameras. They knew when the drum fills were, like in Faithfully, in separate ways. So they cut to me and then cut back to the vocals. It was very well done. I was shocked.
Did it show Ken playing rhythm in the middle of the guitar solo?
No, we didn't do that. So we got that. We got some gigs on the books right now, which is pretty cool. We have the Chalet Theater in Enumclaw. We're doing, it's 25% capacity, so it's 120 seats. We're doing that April 3rd. It's a Saturday. Then we're doing the Everett Theater on May 1st. Also 25% capacity right now. So I think we have 25 seats left on that as of 2 days ago.
Nice.
I'm hoping by the time, we got a little over a month and a half till May. Maybe it'll bump to 50% by then. Who knows? But that's with Petty Thief, a Tom Petty tribute. Andy Vollmer and those guys, super cool. They brought
another one of my clients. Thank you.
Yep.
And I think that was because of you. Yeah,
it's all Uber Beats.
Yeah. Uber Beats clients.
So I see our drum head in the background there. Yeah.
Yes.
Drum head.
Yeah, it turned out pretty cool. It's that one.
Yeah, the guy that did that's pretty cool.
I try.
So we're doing that. We got some stuff in the summer already. Like Aquafest and Lake Stevens supposedly is going. Their go no go date is April 1st. I think they make an actual decision whether they're going to do it or not. I think we're already booked in Covington. We're booked in Wenatchee for RLS Productions. We do that pretty much every year. Robert and Rio are fantastic. Robert and Rio Santiago are fantastic promoters. They used to do a deal at Omi Gardens in Wenatchee, and now it's at the college. So I think it's jumping from 350 cap to 1,000 cap, which is pretty cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, and so it's a benefit for the Wenatchee Valley College Fund. So it helps underprivileged kids go to college, which is awesome. It's an awesome charity.
Is this information on do you guys have a website?
They do, rlsproductions.com. Just jump on that and you have all the information for that. We put it on our socials. So all the gigs that we have coming up, we do it a month or two previous to it, because we don't want to bombard people with like, hey, we got 12 gigs coming up in the next month.
Right.
We do a 30-day, that way we're promoting something 30 days previous. What else we got? We got a couple things in summer that are pretty promising. We're working with a guy named Troy Wyatt right now, a Seattle Entertainment Group, which is a brand new company. He is the entertainment coordinator for Snoqualmie Casino. And he started his own business to help the local tribute scene get out of local. So doing fly dates. So he's in the tribal, tribute or the tribal casino.
Right.
Deal. So he has people across the US that he can tap for fly dates for bringing Seattle tributes to their locales, which is fantastic. And we've been working at that for a long time. And Troy contacted us. He's working with a bunch of Seattle tributes for it. And remains to be seen what happens with it. He's a great guy, really passionate. Like, we did a 2-day 10 tribute recording session down in Tacoma that he paid for. So it's all 5-camera shoot, still photography. He's doing all the editing for it on his dime. And it's for him to promote the bands that he's working with, which is great. He's a really good dude. And he's got something going on at a local park, like an actual state park, a drive-in concert series.
Oh, okay.
So they can do 300 cars, I think, from what he said. Big production, 50 to 60 grand, I think he said, in production costs. LED screens. It's going to be a monster deal. And they're just waiting on the thumbs up for everything to go through permit-wise on doing it. The State Park Foundation wants to do it. So that's a plus. And it's going to be one of the bigger things that happens this summer, I think.
Right.
So
with no venues being open or anything. Yeah.
Right. It'll be pretty cool.
I bet you all those drive-ins that have closed down over the last 20 years around the area are kicking themselves now, right?
Well, there's a couple that are opening up for this type of event. That's the cool thing, because they already have the property for it. It's basically setting up a stage and a PA and LED screens for the far view.
We're gonna have Metallica in Arlington.
Could you imagine? Woohoo!
Well, we have hit the 2-hour mark.
Holy crap! This is a good talk.
Now tell us about your mother.
My mom. My mom's in Florida. My dad's in Florida. They hate each other, and they're an hour and a half apart.
My father's in Florida. My mother's in Florida, but she's dead.
My mom is in oh God, where the hell is she? She's about an hour south of Tampa.
Okay.
Oh God, I forget the name of the city she's in. Saint something. And my dad is in Lakeland, which is an hour east of Tampa. So
is that far enough apart from each other?
Well, that's what I mean. My mom got remarried, and her husband's family is all down there. So that's why they went down there. And my dad's been down there 30 years. Like, he's lived in Lakeland for 30 years. So I was just shocked that they hate each other and they're literally an hour and a half apart.
That's
crazy. Florida's an interesting place, man. Huh?
Brian, we need him to do a read for the show. Just a intro.
Yeah, I didn't write anything down. I figured he could just wing it, but
Oh,
we were hoping we were hoping you'd say something, like, "Hi, I'm Jesse Smith of the Beat Studio and
Oh,
Infinity
absolutely.
Project."
you're listening
You're
to.
listening to Drums and Guns.
I'll do it right now.
Awesome.
Hey, this is Jesse Smith from Uber Beat Studios, also from tribute bands, the Infinity Project, which is Journey, Non Jovi, which is Bon Jovi, and original band Pagan County Rebels. And you are listening to Drums and Guns with Brian D. Christopher and Jason Touchstone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much. And thank you for spending 2 hours with us, for crying
Dude,
out loud.
Oh yeah, no.
Dude, I could probably spend another 2 hours. I mean, this has been a fun.
Well, we'd love to do it.
fun
Your phone's been
conversation,
your phone's been blowing up. I know you have things to do.
Right, business is calling you.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, well, we'll have to.
Yes.
We'll definitely have to. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up then. And thank you very much, Jesse, for your time, like I said. And
Thank you, Jesse.
we'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I want to see what you guys say about this, and just look at your phones in a second.
Oh, okay, sure. Holy Toledo, dude! You're not kidding.
That is our room right now.
Oh,
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, he tuned that pretty
Like-
freaking flat.
Yeah. So we
That's
had a dip at 100, and we had a dip at about 800. And he tuned that room so well that is what he ended up with that night.
Wow, that's killer.
oh my God.
I had to stick it up to the screen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Holy
that is
Toledo, dude.
that is our control room right now.
Wow.
I'm pretty impressed with it. And I think we could do a little bit more as far as treatment wise
Uh-huh.
to make it even better than that. But that, to me, I was just like, dude, you can't get much flatter than that. you
Right.
know?
Now, have you found your sweet spot in there where you can go in there and just go, and it's just perfect?
I'm sure Sean did.
Uh-huh.
Sean spends a lot of time in that room. And like I said, I was floored. Like, I think that came in to me at like 1 in the morning or something like that. I mean, I was sleeping. I woke the next day, and it's on we have an Uber Beats text thread. It's just me, him, and Gavin. Let me see, when did that come in? It's way back here. Oh, there it is. Oh no, it was 8:35 at night. So I don't know why I didn't get it till the morning, but yeah, that I was shocked. I mean, I want it to be where Sean, he has a mixing place at his house, but it's a house, right? So
Right, it's a house.
you have kids, you have dogs. I want a place where he goes and shuts the door, and it's his facility. It is his mixing room, and I get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it works out both for all of us. I mean, he gets paid for his time. I get paid for the studio, and it's a great thing. He's such a fantastic person, as well
Mm-hmm.
as being a fantastic engineer. And that, in a nutshell, that's what it's all about, right? You
Mhm.
gotta, the people you work with and the people that hire you, you have to treat like they're the only person that's in the world,
It's respect.
right? It's respect.
It's respect. Yeah.
I'm working on your project.
Mm-hmm.
I am here for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing else on my docket. Until this project is done, you're my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really marvel at what he does, because I own a freaking recording studio,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how to work half the shit that's in it. You know, I mean, and I can bring up sessions, I can get sounds, I can do all that. I can't edit. I can't edit to save my life. I mean, you put a gun to my head and say, edit this project, and I'd be like, shoot me now. You know? I don't even want to waste the next 2 hours. I mean, I want to be able to edit. I want to be able to go in and like, oh, the fill from take 2 was better than take 5, and we want to use take 5, so I want to move the fill from take 2 to take 5.
Right.
Right now, I'd be like, delete. That's just what it is. It really sucks, because I mean, I've owned this place for 10 years, and I've never made the time to, because of being so busy with everything else that I do,
Right.
I've never made the time to really go in and make a copy of a session, right? And
Right.
open that copy of a session and fuck it up. And just screw it up and just try to figure out ways to do things that I should be able to do owning a recording studio.
Right. Well, it's really the tools.
I'm not just a pretty face, I should know how to work the gear.
Yeah, but it really is all the tools, man. I mean, because I mean, the software. I mean, working with Jason, I just watched a lot of what he does. I can't do half of what he does. Don't get me wrong, but what I do know, I pick up off of him.
I sat in with Jason when he was doing a mixing project one night. We were just bullshitting, and I was watching him work, and I'm like, dude, I was marveled. I'm like, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched Sean like doing reverb and spending 2 hours on one section of a session on reverb.
Yeah.
I'm just so like, dude, where's my Glock?
Drums and guns.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
At least Jesse wouldn't be there going, "Hey man, I need more bravado." Remember that, Jason, in the studio, and dude's going, "I need more bravado on my voice," and we're going, "What? Bravado? I need bravado." It's, "Oh, you need vibrato." Do you remember that? I'm not going to name any names because it'd be really mean, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And Jesse as a performer, and you, Brian, as a performer, like the language behind the mechanics of music,
for sure,
you don't always speak. Message sent is not always message received, and half of it's sort of sifting through that. Like, you meant what is figuring out the language.
Right, for sure.
Right. But I had one last question for you I wanted to ask, because you mentioned Glock. I was going to ask, what type of firearm do you own?
So I have a Smith & Wesson 406 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually gifted to me by my buddy Garrett Williams. I call him Big Sid.
Is he still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's a good friend of mine. And I purchased a Glock 19 MOS about a year and a half ago. I just bought an optic for it, so I got to get that all sighted in, but it's a fantastic piece.
What kind of optic did you get for it?
I don't even remember. I bought it off of Amazon. I have to find out. But yeah, I have it all mounted, and I've messed with it a bit, but it seems like I'm still high, like way high on my red dot.
Right.
Like when I'm at my red dot, it seems like I'm doing this when I should be doing this.
Right.
I don't understand what's going on with it, but yeah, I hopefully will get that sighted in soon and get it all checked out. But I love that. I love that weapon. I've got that, and I've got a Vaultec vault in my bedroom. That's fingerprinted and all kinds of stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I've got both of my weapons in there. I've got another Vaultec.
You're a responsible storer then.
Yeah, but I've got a panic button. So I hit that panic button, it opens the safe, or I go and put my finger on it and it opens the safe, or I can do it from my phone. Vaultec is a great company. They make some fantastic safes. I have a single weapon safe as well that I had before I got my second one, and my daughter is looking at getting one now, so that'll be hers. That'll be kept in her room.
Now, does she carry as well?
She literally just got her CPL. She's waiting for the card. Yep. So she just got her fingerprints done and everything's done. So she's waiting for her card.
Okay, right on. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't take as long as you'd think.
Dude, I had mine in like 5 days.
Right. Yeah.
They
yeah.
told me to. They told me 4 weeks. I got my prints done. They said it goes to Washington State Patrol and expect 4 weeks. Like
Mhm.
5 days later, I got a freaking card in the mail. I'm like, wow. Well, that was fast.
And the very first thing you did was stick it in your wallet, and then you went and got your fucking gun and strapped it on, didn't you?
Well, I very rarely carry. I mean, I
Oh,
carry
okay.
if I have to.
Right.
But normally they're in my safe in the thing. I very rarely carry. If I'm going somewhere that I know that will be sketchy,
Mhm.
I'll have it in the truck.
Or when
But-
you take off on the Harley for a road trip,
But
do you
very
carry on the Harley?
I will. I haven't gotten on a road trip since I got my CPL. So, but yeah, when I do, I will. I'll, like, if I go to Wenatchee or do the 20 loop or whatever, I'll bring it with me.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm legal, so there's no reason not to have it with me.
Right. That's right. It's what was it? It's better to have it and not need it than to need it
And
and not
need
have
it,
it.
not have it. Exactly
Yeah.
right.
And I'll tell you, man, with the day and age, the way things are going around here these days, man. I mean, I had
Yeah.
some guy, I was just going
I
to
saw
get
your
my
rifle
haircut.
build. I saw your rifle build. That looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it handles really nice too. What'd you think, Jason? You got to pop off a few rounds out of that.
It's, you know, it looks really intimidating, and I like how responsible everybody around us is
yeah.
at the range.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ranges
And
are awesome.
yeah, and I think that helps with everybody, alleviates a lot of anxiety, because you don't need anxiety and people carrying.
Yep. I agree.
So,
I agree.
Right.
Yeah, I love going to a range that is very well maintained
Mhm.
and very well secured.
Mhm.
They have the range masters, which my buddy said he's a range master. So, you know, when they call, you know, ceasefire, you know, range is cold, people listen.
Mhm.
Weapons are down on their bench, they step away, everything's good, everybody can go out and change targets. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy going to the range.
And the good thing is that going to the range, because I've been to 2 out here so far, with any type of frequency, I guess you could say.
Right.
But I can say that everybody that's been there has been respectful of the range master. You don't
Right.
have anybody do anything stupid or
Dude, you
anything
have to
dumb.
be,
Right.
because if not, you're out.
Right.
They
Yeah.
they do not pull punches. Like,
Right.
literally, you get there, your weapon has to be in a bag, it has to be unloaded.
Mhm.
You can't walk in with something on your hip. It's like, it has to be holstered in a bag, unloaded, nothing in the chamber.
Mhm. And a flag. in
I
it.
was
Yeah.
I was really surprised about that. I mean, I was like, huh, pretty serious, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's fun, man. I enjoy my weapons, and I didn't have one for the longest time because, you know, I have a kid in the house, and my kid's grown now. And when Sid gifted me the Smith and Wesson, you know, I was like, well, now I have one, might as well have two.
Mhm.
Yeah. And actually, it works out really well because I had my wife handle both, and she prefers the Smith and Wesson, which is great because that can be her weapon and mine will be the Glock. So, because I prefer the Glock. But yeah, man. And
Yeah,
Brian, I want to thank you for doing my wraps for the Journey kit. I've since retired it. That kit is no longer in service. But
Did you sell it yet?
no, man, no. It's for sale, but it's not for sale. If
Right.
it goes to another Journey guy,
Right.
but I mean, I love the kit. I mean, I'd pull it out on special occasions,
Mhm.
like if we're doing a huge show and it's something special, I'll pull it out for sure. It's just stacking in 25.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I got so many compliments on that kit. You know,
We had a fun
people
time working on
asking-
that. That was a fun project.
It was a cool project, man, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It really, the picture I gave you of Dean's kit, it hit it fucking nuts on, man. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it turned out pretty cool.
So one of our fans is Susie Castanovo. It's Dean's sister.
Oh, really?
And yep, she a friend of ours, or a friend and fan of ours, Angie Strickland. It's one of her really good friends, and she came up to see us play about a year and a half ago, I guess it was, and we were playing Emerald Downs in Auburn, and I knew Angie knew her, and she introduced me to her. Hey, this is my friend Susie from Salem. I didn't put two and two together. Oh, nice to meet you.
Right.
And I'm having dinner before the gig, and it hit me. And I'm like, Susie from Salem. Dean's from Salem. Holy shit, that's Susie. That's his sister. So Dean is obviously Journey's old drummer for 17 years.
Right.
And so we do the gig and we play well. And she came up to me after the gig and gave me a huge hug and said, I don't know if you know, but Dean's my little brother. And I was like, damn it, I knew it was you. And she said, I see so much of my brother in your playing.
Wow.
And I was like, thank you. I said, because that means I'm doing my job.
Mhm.
I said, my job in this band, my tribute in this band is to your brother.
Right.
I play Steve Smith's parts
Right.
like Dean did, but my tribute is to Dean because I
Right.
play it the way Dean played them. You know, the passion, the power, the look.
Mhm.
My look is, I'm not Steve Smith. I'm not bald. And,
Right.
you know, it's just one of those deals. It's my hairstyle is the way Dean's hairstyle was. And the drum kit that I had made by Brian was a tribute to Dean because it was one of Dean's kits. It was his tour kit from 2007, I believe.
Yeah, it was a cool
And
kit.
I showed Susie that, and I was like, yeah, well, if you look at that kit, that's a tribute to Dean because that's one of his tour kits that I absolutely loved. And, you know, if I could have bought that kit, I would have,
Mhm.
even though I don't like DW drums. You know, it's just one of those things that to own a kit that he would have played would have been awesome. But yeah, man, I got a lot of compliments on that kit. People asking me where I got the wraps done, and I told them I sent a lot of people your way. If you got people, I sent a lot of people your way. Like, dude, who
I
did your
appreciate it.
wraps? I was like, oh, I said Brian did from Six Skins. You know, just look him up online. He'll hook you up.
You know, it's funny. We were doing Cane Fest one year, and Scotty had his explosion wraps on.
Yep.
And it was what was the name? Something Shed. Oh, local band. I wish I could remember their name, but it's something Shed. Anyway, they were playing. Their drummer comes up and he goes, "Wow, man, I think I got rap envy." And I was like, "That's awesome, man! I got to remember that shit." So,
Totally. It's
yeah.
like it makes it yours. You know, I mean, you could have any run of the mill drum kit, and you know, you do a rap like that, and you can do anything you want for people, and that's the coolest thing in the world. You can make it yours. You know, I play the kits I play now are white. It's a stage
Mhm.
white kit, Yamaha Raptor custom, which I think I'm gonna make the Bon Jovi kit because Tico played a white kit forever.
That's right. Yeah.
And then my Journey kit is gonna be my red Power Tour custom kit that I bought, which is sort of reminiscent of Steve Smith's original Journey kit from like 81, 82.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I still have the wrap kit, and I'll pull it out for special gigs. Maybe I'll pull it out for that May gig. I haven't played in a year and a half, so what the hell? Be
So if
fun.
you fuck up, nobody will notice. They'll be looking
Yeah,
at
what
the
the
raps.
The drums look good. Drummer's drums look
Hey,
good.
did you see that guy's kit? Oh, that's awesome. All right, brother. Well, let's let you go so we can
All
wrap
right,
this
brother.
up. And yeah, so we're hoping to get the first thing, maybe about a week, 2 weeks from now, get the first one posted, do you think, Jason?
Hey, it's all you, man.
I guess so. It is, isn't it?
I don't have a computer.
This is
So-
a 2.5 hour. This is a 2.5 hour deal. It's going to cut down to like 40 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What we'll do is we'll
Yeah.
cut everything that you've said out. And we'll just have Jason and I talking.
Totally.
It'd be like a total asshole thing to do. Yeah, check me out on this interview, and you're not even on it.
Oh my god. Well, Jesse was supposed to be here.
He was supposed to be here.
Dude,
Oh, he just didn't
picked
show
out last
up.
minute.
Well,
All right,
Well,
guys.
after COVID's all over, you and I are, the three of us should go out shooting.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
I'm
Yeah,
always better with a rifle than I am a handgun. I'll be really honest about that.
yeah, man.
Especially, okay, see, I don't have it. Oh, yeah, I do. How convenient. That's my baby.
Ah,
And as I point them, okay,
what is it?
proper gun ownership. This is a
Yeah.
Sig Sauer P365
Uh,
ultra compact.
dude,
It's 10 shot.
my
10 shot.
my favorite handgun is a Sig 228.
Oh God, I love them.
I
I
love
love a 228.
but
Totally.
they're not made anymore.
That's
and if you
right.
find them, they're $1,000 to $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
The 229 took its place, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. They don't balance the same. They don't feel the same. They don't fit in your hand the
Dude,
same.
I'm like right there with a 228.
Right. So let me check
Yeah,
this out. Can you see that little green dot
No.
No.
in
On
here?
the end? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little green dot that pops
Yeah.
up if I get it at the right angle.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a circle and a dot, and you have to get the two of them perfectly lined up, and that's where your bullet's going to go.
Huh.
The thing is, you have to aim it with both eyes.
Oh,
that's it.
yeah.
And if you're left eye dominant, your bullet goes slightly off to the right. So it really fucks with you, because you're trying to. And Jason saw it at the range. About 2 weeks ago, we went up there. We brought
Yeah.
this up there, and I wanted to introduce him to it. And yeah, low to the left, motherfucker. Iron sights, I'll get it right in there every time. But these tritium sights, man, they drive me crazy. I just got to get more used to it, I guess. But
That's awesome.
anyway, all right, brother. Have a
All
good
right,
evening,
fellas.
and we'll have
Great
to do
to
it again
see you.
soon.
Great to see you, man. It's been a long time. And yeah, let's do this again. This
I'd
was
love
fun.
to.
I can't believe it was 2 hours. That's crazy to me. That's
Oh,
awesome.
what's crazy is we got through about half the questions. Seriously.
That's
Wow.
true. And what's
We're just
crazy is
talking, man. We haven't seen each other forever. It's just catching up.
right.
We'll do a 2.0. Do the second half of the questions next time.
Yeah, well, sounds great.
And I'm down.
All right, buddy. Have a good
All
one.
right, man.
Good to see you,
Talk to
Jesse.
you soon.
Cheers.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Later.
bye.